Hi, my name is Agent Light X, and as you all know from the previous video, I got only a few videos, but I'm so grateful people watched it. Today we will be discussing the worst gaming communities of all time. Here are the rules for the worst gaming communities of all time. They have to have three big rules: toxic lobbies, something traumatized happened to one of them, and people in general have to be pretty sweaty or toxic lobbies casually. Now obviously I'm going to put Roblox and VR chat on this. Saying this while Roblox is in the background is crazy, I know. But yeah, we're gonna have Roblox in the background, and I feel like we should go ahead and get started with the video. So without further ado, I present Exhibit A. So I looked it up on Google, and apparently the main bad things about the game known as Rust include its notoriously toxic community, brutal difficulty for new players, which is basically just wow, steep learning curve, constant threats of losing everything, Jesus. Performance and technical issues, especially on console, the punishing cycle of constant raiding and grinding with wipes, and its shallow survival mechanics that quickly develop into pure PvP. So apparently players often face extreme frustration due to betrayal, lack of hand-holding, and the unforgiving zero-sum nature of its PvP-focused gameplay. Now apparently these issues are the lack of depth, the time sink, and the offline rating as well. But no one cares about offline rating. I mean, people do that in Minecraft, so I'm not really going to count the offline rating part. But apparently, its social problems are having a toxic community, the performance issues as well, and there's also pay to win skins, which some cosmetic purchases offer slight gameplay advantages, blurring the line between cosmetic and pay to win. So clearly, this game has a lot of pay to win features, but I don't really see it traumatizing anyone. Now, I decided to look it up on Reddit, and it says, why do gamers outside of Rust keep claiming it's a bad game? Well, it's one of the few survival games to leave early access in a good fashion. The game itself receives constant updates or a ton of servers that fill a variety of playstyle. And there is an actual population on the server, and they aren't capped at like 30 players in most survival games. I always see people throw Rust into the category of games like Ark Conan. They do have similarities, but I'd say Rust is a cut above them. Keep in mind I have 300 hours on Rust and 200 on Conan Exiles. Ark wasn't for me. Futuristic Dinosaurs is about as lame as it can get for me. Now, I cut myself off by accident, but no. I said that, so we're gonna keep continuing. Now, being able to defend yourself from getting offline can be a big reason. Spending 10 hours plus hours of grind to wake up and have it on gone is pretty please. Build it better. But I've had a base that costs 40,000 sulfur, 40 bands sulfur to raid. Get raided. This all says that it's all helping how Rust is a good game, but the next screenshot might not be so good, so let's take a look at that one. Now, this Reddit user said, build better is just a myth. No matter how you do it, if you have a life outside from Rust, you'll be raided as soon as you have something worthwhile. You can be wise, but one of those really ugly and unusable honeycomb houses. But somewhere there's a kid that is only foaming sulfur all of his life, and he will raid you just because he's bored and he has more GP than he needs. The only good strategy to play Rust if you don't have much time and don't play in a huge clan is to live like a poor homeless. Only if you have nothing you won't be robbed. Build better doesn't mean sulfur cost. It's size versus sulfur cost and how attractive it looks in general. 40,000 sulfur isn't even that much for a group. We farmed and cooked 15,000 yesterday as duo while doing lots of other stuff. Because Rust is an unforgiving game that is 90% of gamers cannot handle. It's really that simple. Let's see, it says it's pretty polarizing from what I've experienced. Either people love it or they can't stand it. I know some guys who love FPS and survival games have thousands of hours logged on CS:GO, and they will never touch Rust because it can be that punishing and defeating. And someone else made a great point that there is really no instant gratification. I didn't really experience endgame Rust until like my 100th hour when I finally began to learn the game. Learn about the game. My fault. Learn about early game farming, momentous after wipes, etc. Just imagine someone new farming an inventory full of gear, only to take a bow to take a bow. Oh, I read that wrong. It's only to take a bow to head and lose it all. Most gamers don't like that S. Now it's clear that a lot of different opinions are on this game, but for the most part, a lot of people hate it and don't like the game. Now if I go to Rust reviews, alright, we're gonna look at the Rust review for the game, right? So apparently it has 3 stars on Rust, apparently. 3 stars or 3.5 stars, so the game clearly isn't that good. So apparently a lot of people don't like it, and yeah, I guess we're ready to move on to the next part. Now without further ado, I present the next exhibit, Exhibit B. Alright, now this is the part where I'm supposed to say it's somehow VR chat. It's not at all. Now I'm going to be honest, it's obviously bigotry, hugely. Like, it's obviously Roblox. Second one. Now I'm not gonna lie, Roblox has recently added some updates that would be more protective before Schlepp sued them about it or whatever. I don't know what's going on with that lawsuit, but I know that they're still trying to get out of that lawsuit. Now I know of the fact that we all know, let's all be honest here, we all know and love Schlepp. So I'm going to be honest here, it's not the worst, it's not worse than VR chat, but it's still pretty bad than Rust. Now in terms of anything traumatizing happening, Roblox protecting predators, I don't think I need to say anymore after that. Now let's ask some Reddit users and find something about the new Roblox update about people's opinions, because someone most likely had to write it down. Okay, so this question says, do you think Roblox is reverting the update once the player base and everything drops? Now, this guy said no, not because I don't want them to revert the update, but because game player bases aren't dropping, which is what I find most surprising in all of this. It's not that surprising for most Roblox. Sorry, I skipped one. I only play a few games and I verified. A lot of people verified in my favorite game. I only joined Roblox in November, so I knew the update was coming in advance, so I didn't befriend anybody, since I didn't know who I was going to lose. For me, the game hasn't changed at all. It's not that surprising for most Roblox games. You really don't need the chat to enjoy the game. It's good to have, but it's not always necessary. The games I can think of where the chat is absolutely necessary to enjoy the game are those hangout games where player interaction is the point of the game. But for most games, for most games, you can still enjoy the game perfectly fine without talking to people. Like Phantom Force is one game I still play on Roblox, which is basically Call of Duty, by the way. Where was I? Let's see. My fault, I lost myself. Which you don't really need to talk to anyone to enjoy the game. But even if I wanted to play with friends, we have each other added on Discord, so we could get so we could easily hop in a Discord call and communicate that way. The lack of Roblox chat barely affects my environment for these games. For the record, I do think the update was a mistake on Roblox's part. I don't think it does a very good job of making Roblox safer for kids, which is the whole point of this update. But to me, it's not bad enough to quit Roblox over. I can still enjoy pretty much all of my favorite games without being able to chat. That's likely why the player base has barely dropped. But because despite how much people hate this update, most are realizing they can still enjoy the game without the ability to chat. That and the fact that Roblox's primary audience are children who don't care in the first place. This guy said therefore they don't care about community at all. I think most realistic outcomes are 2, 4, or 5, which 2, yes, but you'll see it. Like I said, the only reason why they're doing this is because of the schlep propaganda. So yeah, and that's it. Now we are ready to move on to the final and worst thing of all time. Without further ado, I present you the final exhibit. Exhibit C. Now, if you have made it this far, please subscribe and like, because you clearly have a good attention span, and that's what basically my content directs towards if you look at the 1 hour drafts. Now, let us get started. Now, I may not have to say much for VR chat, but VR chat is so bad to the point where they have leaderboards for who's on the longest. And if you look at the top 10, they clearly have no life. Anyone who is on that leaderboard has no life at all. And we're also talking about people who do. Did you know that people really goon to VR chat? You know how crazy that is? Anyway, not my point. It's like VR chat is so bad in today's society. Like, you can see it being fun if you didn't have as many pre-videos on there as you do, with so many emitting. I will put them on screen right now, happily. Now, as you can see, there are so many screenshots to the point where I had to miniaturize them down to the point where I could fit them. This is a concerning matter amongst the US. You know how bad you gotta be to have this many screenshots? Not to mention, some of those people are there 3 times. And by some I mean 1 person. But like, I've watched all of these videos. All of them are true in their own sort of way, and honestly, I cannot believe it's been this huge of a deal. Like, I didn't think VR chat was this bad until I saw one of these videos, and I'm like, oh yeah, definitely the worst gaming community. And yeah, like I said, I stand by what I said. VR chat is the worst gaming community. Congratulations, VR chat. Worst gaming community ever. You got more predators than Roblox. Jesus, that's wow. Okay. I I have no words. Well, that's the end of the video, everybody. Congratulations, VR chat. You got the worst gaming community of all time. Goodbye.